Welcome to this 15 minutes video about a very important topic regarding your health. Everybody knows that today we are in the midst of a global health pandemic, right? We have illnesses, we have symptoms. Nearly no one is feeling really healthy anymore. And we also know that health is very holistic. So it always takes an holistic approach, of course. And this is also the reason why there are so many different topics in this school community, right? But there's one specific thing, there's one specific topic, which is like the root cause of the global health pandemic. It doesn't matter which illness or symptom you begin, if heart problems, cancer, diabetes, problems with your gut, with your skin, allergies, tiredness, bad sleep, mental health problems, and so on. It doesn't matter in which health problem you dig in, you always get to this one topic at the root cause. So if you don't solve this one topic, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to really get into the best possible health for yourself and for the other people around you. And before I dig into this topic and also prepare a short PowerPoint so you can also see something, I want to share very shortly my background story. My background story is very simple. Basically, both of my grandparents died on cancer when I was 10 and 13. So as you can imagine, seeing your grandparents during your childhood dying on cancer, you have kind of a passion and interest for especially preventive health, I would say. So it was always a topic that interested me. And age 18, 19, I started working in a gym as a nutritionist, as a personal trainer. I already gave some speeches about health, about nutrition, and so on. And meanwhile, I've been working for the last 3 years with this one specific topic. I will start talking about in like 1 minute. And I've also given some keynote speeches in whole Austria, Switzerland, Germany. So as you can maybe hear, I'm not from the US, I'm from Europe. I'm usually speaking German, but I've also done some keynotes in Rome, in London. So we've reached like about 12,500 customers in the last 3 years with this one concept we will now talk about. And let's start. Let me share the screen and let's get into this topic. And before we start, maybe to sum up my background, I also wrote a book about holistic health and about preventive health. The title is like, it's in German, but to translate it in English, the title is like, that's the reason you are dying earlier, the health problems of our society. And I was digging into different kinds of health topics, and I tried to really find the root cause, because you know how it doesn't make sense to treat just a symptom. We need to treat the root cause. And every time I dig into the health problems, no matter if people felt tired, had heart problems, or something like that, that I also mentioned earlier, I got to this one topic called silent inflammations. So if you're not very aware about this topic, but I think like in the US, you guys, you know a lot about silent inflammations. Like in Austria, Germany, people don't really know a lot about it, but the benefits they get for their health when they treat them, it's outrageous. Like it's crazy. I experienced things I never thought possible just by treating silent inflammations with thousands of customers in the last 3 years. But I think in the US, you are keenly aware of it. If not, to keep it very short and simple, inflammations, especially silent inflammations, you don't see them, you don't feel them, so they don't hurt, you don't see them in the mirror, something like that. Also, the doctor doesn't test them with their tests. That's a little bit of a problem. But they are the silent killer of your health. And they influence every single cell. So we know that the skin is based on your cells, the muscles, like everything in your body is out of cells. And if the cells have silent inflammations in it, then it's kind of a big problem. Then, of course, you can try different things, but as long as you have these silent inflammations, you won't really get into your best possible health. And there are also two books I can recommend you on the topic of silent inflammations if you want to hear more about it. So we know, meanwhile, that silent, or also called chronic inflammations in our cell membrane, are the root cause of 80 to 90% of our health problems. So if we would fix this one topic in our society, we would have like 80% less health problems. So no, it's not the only important thing. Of course, we have also the gut health, we have the hormones, we have the things we eat, we have the things we don't eat, right? So there are a lot of different, very important topics for the health, but like silent chronic inflammations are like the biggest root cause for our health problems. And you can see in this picture what else, which different kinds of health problems can occur during because of silent or chronic inflammations. So what's the problem? As I mentioned earlier, we don't see them, we don't feel them, the doctor doesn't test them, and they're the root cause. So they don't disappear when we treat the symptoms. And now we also know why it's not very smart to try to treat the symptoms with the pharma industry with tabloids, because they don't treat the root cause, right? The root cause are the silent inflammations. And then there's another important question. Why do we have silent inflammations? There has to be a reason why we have them nowadays, right? So I know this picture is in German, but I used it because I just loved it. I will translate it to you. Like the 6 biggest reasons for silent inflammations are lack of activity, bad sleep, how is it called? Let's call it overweight. Being overweight is also a risk for or produces silent inflammations. Then stress is a big thing. The toxins in our environment is a big thing. But the biggest thing is, as you maybe already guessed, the nutrition. Like the nutrition is the biggest factor if you have silent inflammations or not. And maybe let's go into it. We don't need to understand everything about nutrition. We just need to understand the omega-3 to omega-6 balance. Because the higher the balance, the higher the silent inflammations. And omega-3 and omega-6 are fatty acids, and we have them in our nutrition, usually. And to keep it very short and simple, here we have omega-3. Omega-3 is essential for the body. We need it. Without it, we would die. Omega-3 can't be produced in your body, so you have to eat it with the food or take it with supplements if you lack it in food. And it's lowering inflammations. Omega-6, on the other hand, omega-6 also is essential. The body needs it. Without it, we would die. The body can't produce it on its own, so we need to take it with nutrition or supplements. And it hires inflammations. So the best case would be, or the most important thing is, are you in balance, yes or no? If your balance omega-3 to omega-6 is higher than 3 to 1, then your health is in danger, because then you have silent inflammations in your cell. So the most important question is, with your lifestyle, with your nutrition, with your supplements, do you get into the balance from 3 to 1? Yes or no? If yes, perfectly fine, don't change anything. If no, then you should change something. And we also know that back in the days when we really ate food from Mother Nature, this wasn't big of a deal. Like with a very natural nutrition, we had a balance of 3 to 1. So like 300 years ago, the whole society was balanced, or maybe not the whole, but like 95% of the people were balanced 200, 300 years ago. But thanks to man-made food, and I also think I don't need to explain you 5 minutes or 10 minutes what's the problem with our food. I think you guys, you know that very good and understand that very good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this community. But because we eat man-made food and not that much natural food anymore like back then, we have in our society an average ratio of 25 to 1. So maybe yours is not that bad. That could be. And I really think that, because you will have a better nutrition than the other people. But nevertheless, getting enough omega-3 today is nearly impossible, because omega-3 is only found in fatty fish and in algae. Something like walnuts or hemp seeds is also omega-3, but not this kind of omega-3 that our body needs for lowering inflammations. So even though I was a nutritionist, and even though I knew about this topic, and even though I didn't eat a lot of processed food, man-made food, but more natural food, still I didn't have a balance of 3 to 1. And I made some tests with other nutritionists, and they didn't have a balance from 3 to 1. So today it's nearly impossible to get in balance. Nearly everyone has silent inflammations. And this is important to find out. Are we in a danger zone? Yes or no? Because as I said earlier, it's like the iceberg principle. You can't see what's beneath the iceberg, but that's most of the times the problem, right? So we can see if we have silent inflammations if we don't make a test. We don't see it, but it's a big problem. And it's very important for our overall health to get into the balance from 3 to 1, omega-3 to omega-6, to be free of cell inflammations. And this is the one thing you can do for your own health. You can take a balance test and see your test result. You can see your omega-3 to 6 balance. You can see your fatty acids in your cell membrane. And this test is not from the US, but nevertheless, it's a good one. It's from the company Ensino. The company is based in Sweden, in Europe, and the test is done in the laboratory Vitas from Oslo. So Vitas is also working together with Harvard, with Stanford, with Oxford, and so on. So this is one of the best labs you can find in the whole world regarding their technology. And it's very simple. You get a test kit to your home, you prick your finger, you take 2 blood spots, and then you send it to the lab. And then you, nearly 2 weeks after that, you get your test result. And it tells you your omega-3 to 6 balance and some other key metrics, which are pretty interesting to track, but I don't want to go into detail for that right now. And I share the test result with you from my grandmother. Because my grandmother, she had some problems with the joints, some pain in the joints. Because most of the time, older people get joint problems because of inflammations. So I was like telling her, Granny, you have to take the test. She was like, I don't want to prick my finger. I was like, you have to. So I made her to take the test. We got the test result, and yeah, it wasn't the best one. It was 17 to 1, 17 to 1. So it was no wonder that she had some problems with inflammations, right? And we have done, or the laboratory has done, more than 1.4 million tests the last 12 years, since 2012. And out of these 1.4 million tests, 97% of the people were out of balance. 97% of people had silent inflammations. And if you think about it, then it makes sense why we have a global health pandemic. Then it makes sense why 7 out of 10 people die on illnesses, why 19 out of 20 people don't really feel healthy. Now it makes sense why we have so many health problems when everyone had silent inflammations inside their body, which they can see. In the US, we have done 35,000 tests, so it's not a lot since the company is based in Sweden. The main market is in Europe, but I think in US, this concept, wow, will be huge, will be very, very huge, because we know inflammations in the US, it's a big, big topic, right? So we've done 35,000 tests, and the average test result on the first test was 22.4 to 1. So we can pretty sure say that the US has a big problem with inflammations. We can see it on the data. And how do we fix this problem? Okay, now we know that because of our nutrition today, we have, nearly all of us have silent inflammations. So that's a big problem, but how do we fix it? Of course, the first thing would be to change your diet. Eat less processed food, cook not so much with seed oils, or completely minimize seed oils, right? And eat more natural stuff and so on. But nevertheless, even if you do that, it will be very difficult to get into balance. So here it makes sense to take a supplement if you can take it with your nutrition, right? So I always say, before you think about buying a supplement, make a test if you really need it. So if you did the balance test and you are in balance from 3 to 1, I wouldn't recommend buying this product. You don't need it. But if you did the test and you saw that you're not in balance, then of course you should take the product, right? And the balance oil from the company Ensino is like the best firefighter to fight the silent inflammations in your body. It's 100% natural ingredients. It's high in EPA and omega-3. It's high in polyphenols, high in vitamin D, and so on. And you take it based on your body weight. So we don't say, hey, take 2 capsules a day, no matter your weight. No, we say, hey, base it on your body weight. And then you take it for 4 months on a daily basis. And after 4 months, you make a second test, and then you can see what changed. And for whom is this product important? Like, omega-3 is important for every stage of life. Like for children, it's very important for the brain. Like nearly 30% of the brain is omega-3. It's important when you're grown up for like every function in your body, and especially for elderly people. When I think about Alzheimer, when I think problems with the joint, it's still very important. So it's biology that every single cell and the brain needs enough omega-3 to function correctly. And if you don't have enough of it and you see that the test, then you should take it. With also a lot of health benefits that are proven by the Food and Drug Administration. I will not go through them all. If you want to, you can stop the video and read it, of course. And what's important for me, I want to share with you the second test result of my grandmother. Because she took it for 4 months, the balance oil, and then she took a second test. Her joint problems were gone. She didn't have any pain anymore. She didn't have any inflammations anymore. And it was also seen at the test result. Like she had a balance from 3.1 to 1, nearly perfect. 3.0 would be perfect. She had a good omega-3 index in the green zone, and all the other key metrics also improved a lot. And I can imagine that in the next 4 months, everything will be green. So it's not usual that if you have a red result, that after 4 months, everything is green. Everything will be improved a lot, but it's not like a magic pill you take for a few weeks, for a few months, and your body's like healed. It's not that easy, but I think you guys know that, right? And this is mainly the whole concept I just wanted to share with you. And for these type of people who say, okay, I want to learn more about it, I maybe want to even test it, I want to improve my health, I want to do the test, I want to take the product because I know that it's very probable I have a balance higher than 3 to 1. Then you can scan here the QR code. There you can make an order for it to test it. It's not like you have to go on a subscription. You can try it for once, but you could also go on a subscription for like $42 a month, but you can cancel it every single month. So it's not like you have an obligation to take the subscription for X months. And for me, it would be an honor because I want to go a little bit in the US market with this concept. As I said earlier, I have 12,000 customers in the German market. I have more than 1,300 people working with me with this concept. But I'm really interested in the US market because since I'm a little child, I wanted to go to the US. I don't know, but somehow US is just fascinating me. I want to live there. I maybe want to build a business there. I want to meet new people there. And I also think that we can make a big impact regarding the health of the people in the US with this concept. So if you decide to do it for your own health, then please let me know. Please send me a test result. If you want to ask me on how to do the test, we can do the test together. I really want to be part of seeing how this concept develops in the US. So this would be everything about this video. I think the most important thing to just to tie together, to summarize, the most important things are we are in a global health pandemic. We know that the biggest root cause are silent inflammations. The silent inflammations are because of our nutrition nowadays, because we have too much omega-6, too less omega-3, and we can take a test. If your test is green, perfect. If your test is red, then it makes sense to take the supplement based on your body weight, and then after 4 months, make a second test. I hope that this was interesting for you. And as I said, I got 2 book recommendations for you. Get it if you want to. It's very, very interesting for your own health.